back in the bag again. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Hey.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Splash City Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hartman. This is a special Christmas Eve edition of the pod. It's going to be a little shorter, but I did want to do a couple things kind of fun. I'm going to do my weekly college basketball top 10, which I do every Wednesday. But in addition, I wanted to do my basketball wish list. So the season of giving, I'm hopeful that some of these might come true. I solicited your feedback on it. I got a couple responses on that, so we'll include those as well. But yeah, it's Christmas Eve. Got out ice fishing last night for the first time. There's not a lot of sports on today on Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day is full of NFL games and NBA 5-game slate. Speaking of the NBA, Timberwolves win last night against the Knicks, shorthanded Knicks, no Brunson, no Anunoby, but they take care of business. And so they go 3-0 so far in this crucial 4-game stretch against OKC, Milwaukee, the Knicks, Christmas Day, the Denver Nuggets in Denver in the Mile High City. That'll be an absolutely great game to finish off your Christmas Day viewing. So I hope you all have a great holiday, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever it is. Enjoy it. And with that, let's get into it. The stockings are hung by the chimney with care, but frankly, I'd rather have a better seat at the barn. Today, we're not just talking about scores and breaking down games. We're sending our letter to the North Pole, hoping to get our wishes granted this Christmas season. So here are 4 things on my end that I'd love to see. And we also are going to start with our listener submitted requests. As I got some feedback, I realized this is turning more into Festivus, where we're airing our grievances versus a wish list, but we'll take it. First off, shout out to Alex, Kansas Jayhawk fan. His wish for the Christmas season this year is the Jayhawks cutting down the nets and winning a national title. Alex, love the optimism, but let's be real. The real request you have is that Darren Peterson is healthy and playing again, because that is the only way that is happening for Kansas. He's been hurt. He's been banged up. Kansas has been pretty good without him, to be honest. Council has played great. You still have Badunga. However, Peterson's the engine that's going to make that thing go. And without him, I just don't think that's going to happen. So we're probably looking more at like a round of 32, Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8 if we're really, really feeling good. But might be a tough year. Shout out Cash as well, my other Kansas Jayhawk fan. Pat Steyer, thank you for sending in your wish. He had 2 actually. Pat wishes to change the advance the ball rule in the NBA, WNBA, to stop letting teams call a timeout and move the ball from the back court to the front court. He's a purist. He wants to see that full court execution at the end of games. Unfortunately, I don't know that wish can be granted. That one might be the genie's out of the bottle on that. However, wish number 2, KG's jersey in the rafters, I can almost all but guarantee that that's going to happen. We are just days away from the announcement that KG is going to join the Timberwolves organization, and that part of that within the next 2 years is his jersey will be retired in Target Center, and then whatever new arena the Timberwolves decide to build from there. So 1 for 2, Pat, not too bad. Thanks for submitting those wishes that you had. Thank you, Alex, for sending yours in. The ones I had, I want to keep March Madness at, if not 64, 68 teams. I know there's a lot of talk about expansion, and it makes sense. There's 360 teams in college basketball. There is something to be said, I think, for if you are 500 in your conference, you are not one of the best teams in the country. The reason these low and mid-major conferences get their champion in with maybe not a great record is because they won their league. And there's no way to show that team isn't capable of winning a national title. If you can't win your league, if you can't even finish top half, if you can't finish with a winning record in your conference, I don't believe you're in. And so what this expansion is all about getting more of the big names, the Power 4 conference teams in. Do we really need to see a 15-15 Big Ten team in the tournament? I don't think so. I think we've already established that they're not one of the best teams. So I just hope that the powers that be, Santa, Don't let the greed of expansion ruin the college basketball tournament. It's the greatest tournament in sports, and it's good. It's good. Just leave it. Wish number 2 on my list. Let's get some more intimate atmospheres in the Final Fours. I'm kind of tired of the football arena, empty, cavernous type of arenas for these Final Four games. I, again, know why they do it. It's fine, but this is my wish. I'd love to see, something played at a smaller basketball arena, even if it's an NBA arena. I think it would have way more atmosphere than the US Bank Stadium. I attended the championship game there, and great experience, super fun, but it just doesn't feel like basketball in those things. So that would be another wish on my list. Number 3, wish list. Fix the barn. Williams Arena, I know there's debate on whether they want to tear it down and build a new. I'm of the belief that you take out the 10 rows in the first level, make the concourses bigger, modernize everything, keep the barn aesthetic. It's cool. And also, can we just get rid of the raised floor? I know that's sacrilegious amongst Minnesota Gopher fans, but I just don't see the point anymore. I feel like you could really enhance Williams Arena tremendously with a few tweaks, still keep the charm of the inside and the barn look, and just fix it up a little bit. Maybe that's more expensive than tearing down and building new, but that would be my wish as well. Wish number 4, and this actually came from a guest I had the other day, Kevin McKenzie, Egan head boys basketball coach, but he would love to see, and I think this would be really fun, is a true 64-team 4A tournament. So take the top 64 big schools in the state of Minnesota, boys and girls, and rank them. You can even create 1 through 16 pods, 4 pods of 16 like they do in college, regions, so to speak, but rank them. Too often we get, the top 2 teams in the state playing to go to state, right? And I think this would really create kind of a fun atmosphere. You could still do the quarterfinals, semifinals, and championship at, Target Center, Williams Arena, but you kind of create this March Madness style tournament amongst the top 64 teams in the biggest schools in the state of Minnesota. So that would be a cool idea. I think Kevin's onto something. Hopefully, maybe that can change as well. But those are some of my wishes in the game of basketball. Obviously, I'd wish for championships and things like that, but hopefully you enjoyed this segment. If you got other ideas now that I've raised them, feel free to leave a comment in one of the posts, leave a review. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about, like, what would be your wish list for basketball, whether it's high school, youth, college, or professional. What do you want to see happen to make the game better, or to make the game more enjoyable for you? All right, lastly, I want to go through my college basketball top 10. This is my weekly top 10 poll for the men's college basketball teams. And I'm probably going to take next week off just because there's not a ton of games between now and then. And a lot of teams will start ramping up their conference season starting January 2nd. But there were some shakeups in the recent poll. So starting off at the top, I still have Michigan. They have not really been tested in the last 7 days. So until proven differently, they're my number 1 team. However, I would say that my number 2 team, Arizona and Michigan, are very, very close. I don't see a ton of difference in those 2 teams. I do like Arizona's guards a little bit more. I like Michigan's bigs a little bit more. But right now, those 2 teams undefeated, top of the college basketball landscape at this moment. For number 3, I actually have UConn ahead of Iowa State at 4. The reason I have that is because UConn, I think, when healthy, is maybe the best team in the country. They have a loss to Arizona by 4. UConn didn't have all their guys in that game. When fully healthy, I think they're really dangerous. And same with Iowa State. Taman Lipsey's had some nagging injuries at times, but when healthy, Iowa State is as good as anybody in the country, as they showed in a 23-point win at Purdue earlier this month. Speaking of Purdue, I have them moving up to number 5 this week. Again, not a ton of movement for them in terms of challenges and things like that in their schedule, but it does get ramped up a little bit here in the next couple of weeks with Big Ten play starting. They have Wisconsin and Washington the first week of January. They had a nice win over Auburn by 28 at a neutral site in Indy, I think it was. So Purdue moves up, and who did they leapfrog? Number 6, Duke. Duke falls to Texas Tech. A pretty worrisome trend, I think, happening for Duke in the last 2 years with John Shire is kind of losing some of these games where they have leads in the second half. They did it last year against Houston in the Final Four with a far more talented team. And then this year against Texas Tech, they had a 17-point lead in the second half. So they got to find another scorer, consistent scorer to go along with Boozer. Isaiah Evans does it sometimes. Caden Boozer does it sometimes. Sometimes you'll see Caleb Foster have a nice game, but they need to continue to grow. So Duke falls to number 6 in my poll. I still have them ahead of Houston at number 7. Houston, I think, is going to be fine. I think they're going to continue to rise in my poll throughout the year. I just really like Kelvin Sampson's team, and I like how their freshmen are progressing. Kingston Flemings is going to be awesome. The computers don't love Houston, but that's kind of typically how they go in the preseason. Their next, I would say, big test is January 6th against Texas Tech, and then they get Baylor on the road later that week. So watch out for Houston in the Big 12. They've won it their first 2 years in the conference. Number 8, I moved up BYU to number 8 this week. I just think BYU has been very impressive. AJ Debanta, if you haven't heard that name yet, get to know it. He is incredibly impressive, and he put on a triple-double the other night in one of their wins. And so, BYU, again, hasn't really been tested since early December, but they're entering Big 12 play, and they're going to see a lot of tough competition there. But right now, their only loss was pretty much a road game in Connecticut, where they lost by 2. So I really think BYU is another team. So Houston, BYU, and Arizona in the Big 12, stacked. Number 9, I have Gonzaga. Computers really like Gonzaga, Ken Pom and Bart Torvik. They have one win over a top 25 Ken Pom team, and that's Alabama. They beat Oregon recently. They beat UCLA by 10. So they're winning the games they should win. Their only loss so far this year, 40-point loss to number 1 Michigan, though. So, outside of, I'd say, the top 5 teams, there are some flaws. Most of these teams got to work through that throughout their conference season. But overall, I would say, looking at college basketball, everybody on this top 10 list has a chance. I mean, even number 10, Michigan State, one loss, Michigan State, right? Very typical Tom Izzo team. Rebound the heck out of the ball. They're getting good guard play. Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper up front. Colin Cars had a nice breakout year, a little more offense to his game than just highlight dunks. Their only loss is to Duke. They beat Iowa, they beat North Carolina, they beat Kentucky, they beat Arkansas. So as we get into Big Ten play, they open next Friday at Nebraska, and that's going to be a huge game. I have Nebraska actually in my first group. I'm starting to make this poll. This is going beyond 10. But I got Nebraska, Vanderbilt, and North Carolina knocking on the door. Those 3 teams, Nebraska's undefeated, Vanderbilt's undefeated, and North Carolina has 1 loss, and that was to Michigan State. So North Carolina's beat Ohio State, they beat Kentucky, they beat Kansas. They also have some nice wins. But Nebraska's win at Illinois, very impressive. Computers love Vanderbilt. They're 8 in Ken Pom. They're, I think, 5th in Bart Torvik. But their best win right now is over St. Mary's, number 33 St. Mary's. Now, it was impressive. It was a 25-point win. I said in last week's poll that the game against Memphis was going to be tricky. They win in overtime. So kudos to Vandy for winning that game in overtime. Then they go to Wake Forest and blow out the Demon Deacons. So these 3 teams, I think, are right there with probably the Gonzagas and Michigan States, teams like that. So there's not much difference at this point. I just don't think I can put them in ahead of these other teams based on who they've beaten and who they've lost to. So Nebraska has a great win at Illinois, but outside of that, I think you're thinking that Creighton win is going to mean more than it does. Like, Creighton is not good this year, especially without Jackson McAndrew. Wisconsin early year, you think that's a great win. Wisconsin's not great this year. Kansas State is not great this year. Oklahoma is not great. So Nebraska has one good win on their resume right now. So I need to see a little bit more. That game against Michigan State on the 2nd could be the game. So that's my college basketball top 10 poll. Christmas Eve, heading into the holidays. Not a lot of college action here the next week or so, but get ready because once the new year hits, things are going to really get going, and it's going to be a great college basketball season. All right, that's the show. It's an abbreviated edition. It's a Christmas Eve edition. Hope you all have a great holiday. Hope you're safe. Hope you enjoy your time with family and friends. Get to watch some basketball, some Christmas movies. Could always do a poll on top 10 Christmas movies, of course. Christmas Vacation here, Christmas Story, close second. But we've been hitting all of them, the Home Alones and the things like that. So it's been a great season so far for our family. I wish you and yours all the best. Thanks for listening. It's made this year even more special to me to have a podcast that people want to listen to. So I appreciate you. And yeah, I guess we'll probably talk to you in 2026. I have to do the obligatory dad joke. See you next year. Thanks again. This has been the Splash City Basketball Podcast.